concern to themselves, and they need close to round the clock care, intensive supports.
Okay.
That just helps identify to people who are going to be providing direct services what types of levels of support that they need. Again, it's always going to be individualized, and many times best practice will still have a thorough assessment be done so that they can see where are this individual's strengths, where are their challenges, what communication skills do they have, what behavioral needs do we need to work on. That's really it. That's why with autism, it's always going to be individualized.
Right. Okay.
Did you want me to go into any early signs of autism?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. So some early signs in autism, some signs that you're going to see in babies and toddlers, most commonly is they may appear to be somewhat disconnected from others. So what I mean by that is they might not be making eye contact, or if they do, it's not sustained for long periods of time. Joint attention is another critical skill and often a red flag. I spent many years in early intervention, and one of the first things I would do when I would enter the home and play with a child was, while I'm playing with them with bubbles or a ball or a toy, or if I'm clapping my hands, are they really interested in sharing that experience with me? Are they referencing me, the toy, and making that somewhat connection through eye gaze shifts? For a lot of individuals with autism, many of them aren't as motivated intrinsically to have that social emotional reciprocity. So they may seem isolated in that sense. They may be more object focused. They also might not be responding to their name. They may have difficulty communicating. So their expressive communication skills might be really delayed. As a result, they may engage in more tantrums, more behavioral challenges, because if we can't functionally communicate what we need or what we want or comment on something, a lot of times, especially when the individual is a toddler or young, they're going to use their body to communicate what their words can't say for them. Also have little to no imitation skills. A lot of times I noticed a lack of joint attention, a lack of responding to name, and not strong communication skills. Those are typical prerequisite skills before spoken or functional language will occur. So a lot of those critical early years from birth to 3 are really promoting that social emotional connection, imitation, eye contact, because a lot of times those are those prerequisite skills that will have to occur or improve before communication skills are going to really take off.
Can I say something at this point?
I'm sorry?
Sure.
Yeah, because hi, Stephanie, I'm Norberto.
Hi.
I kind of wish I had, I have 2 sons on the spectrum at different levels. My youngest is 23 going on 4 because he's autistic, and we can't say mentally retarded anymore. I believe the phrase is developmentally delayed.
Yep, you can say developmentally delayed or cognitively impaired.
Oi. I'm sorry, I'm old school.
Some people say neurodiverse instead of neurotypical.
Yeah.
They may say they're neurodiverse as opposed to neurotypical.
Oh, please stop.
I'm just saying.
I can't keep up. I have heard them all. Then one comes into favor, and then the other one. I can't. Listen. I'm going with what's written in the paper. Autism Spectrum Disorder / mentally retarded. I have no problem with the phrase. It's clinical. It's straightforward. Everybody understands that. I'm cool with it. My other son, he's higher functioning. He's Autism Spectrum Disorder. He's 25 going on 15 emotionally. Now, one of the things that Stephanie said, Stephanie was particularly, when my oldest was in pre-K, his pre-K teacher had called us. She was the one who suggested that we get him evaluated.
Mm-hmm.
The term she used, as odd as it was, now after all these years, it makes sense. She said, he has no sense of himself in space. So the example she would give me was when all the kids were sitting in circle time, for
Mhm.
story hour or whatever, every time she looked up, it was like a cat. He seemed to drift a little further away. And then physically a little further away. Next thing she knew, he was sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My youngest one, we thought he was deaf
That's
because
common.
we not only would we not respond to his name is Ramiro. Not only would he not respond, you could scream in his ear. And there's a little baby, you scream, you go, Ramiro, and no jump, no reflex. So we had his hearing tested. This was back in the the late 90s. So this was when all this stuff was, I'm asking the doctor and the doctor's asking me questions. So we had I had the oldest evaluated for ADHD, ADD, those diagnoses came up. And we're affiliated with YAI, the Young Adult Institute in New York City, Premier Healthcare. And they've been clients ever since they were toddlers. They are great with autistic people. So while I went to have my oldest, Otilio, evaluated, I had Ramiro, the baby, because Otilio was 4 at the time, and Ramiro was 2. You know when you have the baby sitting on your lap and they get a little jumpy, going like this, and you kind of want to bend over and kiss them on the top of the head? My little cherub, he had this thing where he would jump straight up with his head, tag me on the chin, and knock me out.
Mhm.
I called it being Mike Tyson. So, because he hit me hard, and somehow on the way down, my last conscious act was to put him on the couch so he wouldn't fit on the floor. And my wife would run in and say, "What happened?" I said, "What happened? Your kid knocked me out again." So while we were at YAI having Otilio evaluated, I had Ramiro on my lap and he's jumping around. And I facetiously said, "Hey, while we're here, can we check this one out too?" I thought a 2-year-old was far too young to be diagnosed in this manner.
Mhm.
Well, they took him in the back. 20 minutes later, they come back. "Okay, your son is autistic. So what we're going to do is this. This is the plan we have." They had this whole plan written out for him already. Meanwhile, I'm still back at, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean by autistic? You mean you can draw? What does that mean?
Right.
This is all new to me.
Right.
And along with that, we came along the things that you're saying. We saw in the raw, the way he would not respond to his name. He would not respond to loud noises the way you and I would, yet other things would freak him out. You could
Mhm.
scream in his ear, nothing. A fly buzz around his face, whoa, total meltdown.
Right.
So, it was difficult in the beginning because it was all a guessing game.
Right.
I have a
Now,
question.
now I'm glad to hear what like I said, to hear what you just said. I'm thinking, I wish I had that back in my back when I started this ride.
So, real quick, how common is it to have two siblings that has that's autistic? Like, I mean, I've never heard of, you know, and also for some reason I always thought that being that boys were more autistic than
That
girls
is
because
true.
Yes.
I've never really heard of a girl being autistic. They may be out there, but mostly I hear
Yes.
males.
That is
So
true. I'm
that
sorry. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups that are support groups for autism parents. And the statistics back up what you said, Reese. The vast majority of autistics are boys. We don't know why.
Yeah.
There are some girls. My girlfriend's granddaughter is on the spectrum, and I have 2 Facebook friends that have daughters that are on the spectrum. But I don't I don't know what the exact ratio is, but I'm sure 7 boys to 1 girl is not out of line, and
Hmm.
we don't know why.
Yeah.
Is
As
that
far as
what you've been hearing, Stephanie? Are you familiar with that statistic or?
Yeah, so at this time, The causes of autism are unknown, but current research does strongly suggest that autism is a genetic disorder, possibly triggered by environmental factors yet to be determined. However, like Norberto was saying, multiples isn't one of those increased risk factors. There's an estimated 80% of autism risk can be traced to inherited genes. However, it's important to know that there's a difference between inherited and hereditary. And what the research is showing right now is an estimated, as I said, 80% of autism risk can be traced to inherited genes. However, there is another percentage which hasn't been identified yet that has what's called a de novo genetic mutation. So that means once the child received the information from their parents, there was a mutation that occurred post-conception. So it wasn't necessarily inherited. That genetic mutation wasn't necessarily inherited from the parents. It happened post-conception. That exact percentage hasn't been identified yet, but it's called a de novo mutation. So right now, the national prevalence rate for autism is 1 in 54, and it is 1 to 4 times. It is 4 times more common in males. So, so that's where the statistic is with males. It's 4 times more common in males, and 33% of individuals with autism also have an intellectual ability, and also have an intellectual disability.
Okay.
Not all individuals with autism have an intellectual disability. Some may have really strong skills in certain areas.
Like numbers, right? Like I read where they be excellent at math, like numbers and what we struggle with, they just know it offhand.
Yep. So for some individuals, they may have savant abilities in math or music or technical skills. And for those individuals, some of those skills are strengths and they're advantages. But sometimes they're so in tune with them, with those savant abilities, that they can also become a bit of a disadvantage because it's so strong. Sometimes those interests and those strengths and those skills are to the exclusion of everything else in their environment. So I only want to talk about math. I only want to talk, and I'm not going to be that concerned with or aware what your perspective is on those things. And those skills can certainly be taught, but a lot of times, and that's why early screening is critical. And Norberto, you did an amazing job by at least raising that awareness to a diagnostician who is trained in autism evaluations, because right now, the average age of diagnosis is 4.5 years old. And we really are trying with the broadened awareness of autism, with more access to services, and really promoting the importance of early screening and why that's so critical. We really want to see the age of diagnosis get closer to 2 to 3 years old, because then they miss that critical window of early intervention therapy, which is really important, because from a very young age, many of these babies and toddlers and young children often need to be taught skills that other children who are neurotypical are going to pick up through observation. So they need to be taught the prerequisite skills needed to be developed so that by the time they go to school, they're going to be a lot more successful and prepared to learn, interact, communicate, and build relationships. So that's why access to screenings and early diagnosis is really critical.
I think a lot of parents are like me, that we're not aware that you can do that with a 2-year-old.
Right.
Yes. And that's what I was going to mention, Norberto. So that's such a good observation. See, what I was thinking with your situation, it was more evident, right? Because when you were screaming in the baby's ear and the baby wasn't responding, that right there, you can tell that, okay, something is amiss. Let me go check this out, right? Yes. So right. It's pretty evident. What I am concerned about also on the flip side of that, like you just mentioned, it might not be as evident to take advantage of the early intervention therapies. So what are some of the things that are not as evident that perhaps the parents should be looking out for? Like, what are those signs that you don't want to miss and go on till your child is way later and more far gone, if there's such a thing as being far gone?
So, and that's where sometimes autism can be, that's why that puzzle piece comes in. It can be a little bit of a mystery because of that wide spectrum, but some
Right.
common variations are cognitive impairments, which is not always easy to see or know, especially when the child is young or when you have a first-time parent, or if you have a parent who doesn't necessarily know what to compare it to. Oh, I didn't know my child should be imitating or using two-word utterances by now. And one thing that's really important, and the CDC has a lot of information, there's an app now, early screening tool, that you can download from the CDC, which is an app of developmental milestones from, I think, 2 months up until 6 years old. So it breaks down those red flags and those warning signs so that parents who may understandably not know what joint attention is, or that they should have, or that their child should be imitating, or responding to their name regularly, or having purposeful pointing, purposeful and functional eye contact, able to make sounds or say single words. Those are some really big common red flags. But a lot of times when you take your child for well visits at around 18 and 24 months, most pediatricians now are doing those autism screenings.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes those questions can be subjective. It may say, does your child talk? Yes or no. So a parent may say, yes, they talk, but it could be 2 words with approximated language. So that's not really, oh, my child can communicate.
Right.
Yeah, there's a difference between saying words and functionally communicating.
Right.
So if you're really noticing not responding to name, not imitating, fleeting eye contact, kind of a delay with that social emotional reciprocity, or a lot of restrictive behavior patterns with play, or maybe they keep doing the same thing with a toy over and over again, or they don't reference back to mom or dad or a sibling during playtime because they're more object focused, those are some really big red flags to look for. As an individual gets older, some common variations are cognitive impairments, behavioral difficulties, communication and socialization difficulties, organizational difficulties, and body awareness, which is kind of what Norberto was saying, where his son was kind of not aware of where his body was in space in the classroom. So kind of having difficulty with body awareness. And that's where sometimes occupational therapists can help with that gross motor awareness and proprioceptive awareness, where my body is in space, how to walk and hold something at the same time and get from point A to point B. Many individuals with autism also have oversensitivity or undersensitivity, kind of what Norberto said as well with his son. Loud sounds, he was undersensitive, but a small little sound in the room, he was very oversensitive to that. There's a lot of different examples within all of those common variations, which is what makes autism so challenging at times. But some of
we used to take him in the subway, and he would, the younger one, if a truck roll, 6th Avenue, if a tractor trailer would roll by, he would freak out. Waiting for the subway. I mean, but the freakouts were like, he would tense up and break the stroller that he was in. And we didn't understand what was going on until finally one day I took 2 pieces of pelty paper towel, rolled them up and shoved them in his ears. Then he started to chill out. Now, Stephanie, I have a question for you, and for Reese too.
Okay.
Again, this is anecdotally with my contacts with other autism parents, but it's not always the case, but it's well pronounced. With the autism, always seems to come with some other sort of physical ailment. My older son, no. My youngest son is autistic, and he's asthmatic. I know a lady that more than one parent where their autistic child suffers from seizures.
Hmm.
Yeah, about 1/3 of individuals with autism have a history of seizures.
So I just wanted to get at, Reese, does your child have asthma or anything like that?
No, I don't have an autistic child.
Oh, pardon me.
No, that's okay. No, I don't have
But
an autistic child, but
but what's besides the seizures, is there any statistics on other ailments accompanying autism, such as asthma or anything else like that?
I don't know any in addition to what you said about being asthmatic or having seizures. About 40 to 50% of individuals with autism do also suffer from insomnia. So they may have a lot of difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, sleeping through the night, eating difficulties, a lot of a lot of
Yeah, I hear that too.
sensitivities. That's very common as well.
I have a question. Um, Going back to when you were talking about the signs. Now, as parents, we want a healthy baby, healthy child. Do and we do have some parents that we have that feeling when we see have a kid, we know that something is wrong, but we don't want to admit it. It's like
Yeah.
we don't want to say there's something wrong with the baby for some reason. No, if the parent have this feeling and it prolongs, and there's no treatment, or just as you said, when the doctor asked, is he speaking? Oh yeah, he's speaking, but he's only saying ma or daddy or whatever. Is there any repercussions because they didn't bring them to the doctor earlier for testing, or you know
So there's a lot of improvements now in the availability of services and more thorough identification methods. And I always say that parents are their child, or is the expert on their child. So if they do a screening at a well visit and they still feel, my best advice is to always communicate your concerns. If you feel like something is off, if you feel like something's just not right, always share that concern, because there's no medical test that can diagnose autism, and it's based on autism specific assessments and observations of the individual's behavior. And what they should do is communicate that with the pediatrician and say, I would like to be referred to a trained diagnostician. Usually it's going to be a neurologist, a psychologist, or a developmental pediatrician who will walk them through a more thorough identification tool. They'll ask them more detailed questions, and they may be able to recommend them specific services, whether they have autism or not. Maybe they have developmental delays in some of those areas that can be addressed. The earlier you work on it, the more equipped they'll be when they go to school. And you want to make sure that if you feel that they are delayed with their communication skills or being able to follow directions, or they're having environmental or sensory sensitivities, we want to make sure that we're trying to teach them early on those coping skills, those communication skills, those socially significant functional skills that are so critical, especially from birth to 3, but also from age 4 on, so that they can hopefully catch up, or they can get the treatment that they need as early as possible, because individuals on the spectrum and with any developmental delays can make immense gains when they are given access to treatment early on.
so parents
Okay, that's a great question, because I've been waiting to ask you that, right? Because I want to give our listeners, I'm sorry, Reese, don't forget your point, a realistic view of autism and what folks like Norberto are going through right now with his children, a realistic view. If
Oh,
your children have this, I'm trying to understand. So one, I understand that there is no cure for autism, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And
But
with that in mind, the early intervention, back to, I'm gonna swing it back to you, Stephanie, 1 minute. But with that in mind, I think it comes back to your point where you mentioned that it's to equip them early, right? So all of this that we're doing and making sure that we have that early intervention and this and that. So while there is no cure, The goal is to what? Equip.
So, yes, while there's no cure, and it's not even just, early intervention, it's also just as early as possible. Say, the early intervention window is from birth to 3. As early as possible, providing them with access to direct, intensive, and individualized supports so that they can learn the skills that they need, decrease challenging behaviors that might be interfering with their ability to interact, learn, and engage, and teaching them skills. A lot of what I did when I did in-home therapy was teaching socially significant skills. I don't care if they know all their letters. Do they know how to ask for a drink? Do they know how to get dressed? Do they know how to transition from one thing to the next? If mom says, can you give me a minute? I'll be right there. Can they understand that coping skill and that flexibility skill? Because what they always say is, when you have a child with autism, they're going to be an adult with autism. They're going to become an adult. And we have to make sure that as early as possible, and as parents, we really advocate for what we might not feel is right, and we communicate, because you are your child's expert. No one knows your child better than you. So communicating that to the pediatrician, referring them, asking for a referral to a developmental pediatrician who will walk you through those steps in more detail and hopefully connect you with resources and the supports that you need to work on those skills as early as possible. Because for some who have that individualized treatment and intensive treatment early on, they can catch up. And for those who might actually be on the autism spectrum, they can still learn a lot of skills and be independent and lead a life where they can do lots of things. That's
just going to ask that.
But that's not true for everyone with autism, because as I said, some have more severe autism.
Because I wanted to know if, I'm sorry, that's one of the questions I wanted to know. Okay, we're dealing with them with being kids, teenagers. When they get to adults, like Norberto, your kids are adults. Are they
legally? Yeah.
Legally, right? But can they live an independent life, like have their own apartment, or it depends on the level of their autism, where they can be?
It does depend on the level of the autism. Like Stephanie said before, I know one autism parent. Her son has a girlfriend. He's an adult. He lives in the same town with her, and he has his own apartment.
Okay.
My own sons, let me close the door because I'm going to be brutally honest. I love them dearly, but not facing the truth does nobody any favors. My oldest son, like I said, he's 24 going on 15. I have faith that one day he will be able to live independently, hopefully find himself a nice woman and know the joys of having a family. That day is not today or tomorrow or for a while. But I'm working at it. I'm trying to get him working at it. Like I say, everything about being 15, it can be very much a rebellious teenager.
Right.
That kind of behavior. He is lacking in some of the social graces, the finer things in life, hygiene, using deodorant, shave, comb your hair before you go outside. That you wore that shirt last night. Those kinds of things. That you want to get him past.
Right.
My younger, he will need, unless they do come with a cure for autism and mental retardation, he's going to need supervision for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Now, I had been fortunate. God's been good to me. Their mother, my wife, she passed away in 2007. So from 2007 till, I'm going to say, what year is this?
20.
It's all a blur. This is 2020, right? So I'm going to say for about 7-8 years, I had to raise them by myself. I had to quit my job, stay at home, and take care of them. God bless me. I met a woman. She moved in with us to help me take care of the boys. She has a huge family in Indiana. And I'm grateful because I know that if something happens to me, there's going to be somebody to take care of them, especially my youngest. One day he may have to be placed in a home. That day is not here yet. And as long you will pardon my French for a moment, this is something I promised my wife for many years, and I tell people, the day I put him in a home is the day I can't wipe my own ass. So as long as I can move, he's my son,
Right.
and I'll take care of him. But like I said, my girlfriend's family, they're huge, they're tight knit, and I'm grateful, and I know that he'll be taken care of.
And it
Sadly, not every autism parent
have that
has that
support.
blessing, and a lot of
Mm.
people
Right.
wonder what's going to happen to their kids after they're gone.
Yeah, and it has
Right.
to be hard on the parent to take care of, you know, a autistic child
It
for the
is.
rest of their lives. You
You
know,
don't
Yeah.
sleep. You're always putting your own needs, medical and otherwise, on the back burner because they're
Mhm.
so demanding.
yeah,
And
It's
it's I would imagine, Norberto, also it's demanding financially as well,
yeah,
not just emotionally and everything else, but financially. So
draining.
maybe, yeah, it's draining. And most of us, not everybody, most of us are not rich people where we just have all the money, can just pay for everything. And I imagine it's so costly for all the different programs, therapies, this
Well,
and that. Do you
well,
get,
let,
can you
let me.
speak a little bit about any programs that can help financially with those folks right now who are listening and who may be worried that I don't have money for this, so I'm just going to pretend, or I'm just going to ignore it?
Well, let me say this. It very much depends where you live. That's sad, but that's a starter point. I live in New York City. I live in New York, in Manhattan. I live in the boys. We live in Soho, very good school district. So I have been fortunate enough to go through, and people Google YAI.org, the Young Adult Institute. If they can't help you, they can point you somewhere that can. These people, ever since we were affiliated with them, the boys have gotten, and let me say this about the New York City school system. Wonderful. The boys were placed, my youngest was placed he had to go to special ed school outright. The older one, he was not quote unquote mainstreamed, but he went to a regular school and he had services applied to him at school. He had what's the word? A paraprofessional in the classroom with him, with the teacher and the regular students. He had therapy in school, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and he would be pulled out of class and taken to his therapy at certain times of the day. I've been really fortunate with that. After my wife passed away in 2007, my I called them up. They had something called a crisis intervention team. And that's when they hooked me up with a respite worker. Respite is so important because the respite worker is is for the child, but really it's for the parent. So you can take a nap for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
go do the laundry, maybe go on a date. You get a few hours off, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
In other parts of the country, it becomes more difficult. Now, one service that can help is Autism Speaks. I contacted them a little while ago. I needed help with my electric bill because Social Security is not hitting the lottery. And they got me a grant to pay my electric bill. The resources are out there. The sad thing is they're not advertised. You as the parent, as if you don't have enough on your plate,
yep,
you have to go out there and look for them. But any
Right.
autism parent that within the reach of my voice, if you go on Google and just so much as Google grants for autism parents, It's going to come up. Just go through and see what applies to you. Ask every single one. This is my needs. These are my needs. Because one of the things that they'll help with, like one service I get is family reimbursement. So if I buy Ramiro clothes or sneakers or some medications that are not covered by Medicaid, I can submit those receipts and I will get reimbursed for those purchases. So those things are available. Other things you can get are, this comes around on a regular basis. It's kind of difficult, but you take the shot. You can apply to get a free free iPad for your kid with appropriate autism software.
Okay.
That's out there. You can write to Dell and tell them I need a laptop for my kid. But just don't be ashamed to beg. That's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
out there, but you have to go out there. You got to go out there and grasp it. You got to look for it. Because as they said before, you are your child's advocate. You are your child's parent, and you can't let anything stand in your way. Not ego, not shame.
Right.
Because some of us are ashamed to beg for help. I will stand on the corner and scream, please help me if it can get me help for my kids.
Right.
Yes. Very important.
I absolutely love that you said that. And I'm just sitting here listening to you, in awe of you. I completely respect everything that you're doing and everything you just
Thank
said.
you.
And while you were talking, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm such a big softie. I was
I,
getting goosebumps.
I don't know how you do it, Norberto. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're a great dad,
yeah,
Norberto.
I don't know how you do it because I would be, listen, I have 4 kids and they're, not autistic and I'm drained. Right. So you're the way you talk and the way that energy and that you're giving off, I'm like, I can tell that you're just,
Yes. And
You're
good.
a
actually,
great
Excellent.
dad.
we're getting
Yeah.
comments from some of our listeners as well, and they're saying the same thing you're saying, Norberto. It is so important because advocating for your child, it is not begging
Yeah.
in no sense of
No.
the word. You have to be your child's advocate, because who else is going to do it for you?
And you know what?
So
Maybe somebody was feeling that way, but after hearing Norberto, like, listen, if I have a situation, I'm always going to remember what Norberto said.
yes.
Don't
And that's
feel
specifically
shame.
why I asked him to speak about this, because I know we have many people in our audience right now, because we have people listening. Reese, you might want to help me with this. You mentioned it last week. Some of the states who are our listenership
Like
are
Florida,
from.
Florida, Chicago. We have up New York, New Jersey. We actually have people in the
And
islands listening because it's
yes,
our time.
Maryland as well.
Jamaica, UK. So we're all, people listening all over. So this
And we
is
are
good.
getting the comments. So I'm just so thankful to you both for expressing yourself so clearly right now, because that was the point of what I wanted to drive home.
And
Because we
actually,
have people who might have this condition, who might have a child, and maybe it's a mild
but
spectrum
we have
disorder. Maybe.
actually our co-host Kim, which she's gonna be on in a while. Her nephew is autistic, so she deals with him on she knows what it is.
Right.
And
Excellent.
here she goes, Miss Galaxy Tab. That's our other co-host.
For me today.
I'd like to, go ahead. I wanted to add 2 things. One, well, maybe 3. I'm grateful for the things you said. I'm just doing my duty as a father. And again, from the autism groups, I've seen a lot of women are single mothers because as soon as they had an autistic kid, their men left them. And I have no respect for a man who turns his back on his child.
Yeah.
I've even heard them say that the man said, I didn't sign up for this. Well, fellas, you did as soon as you made a baby.
That's right.
Get that right.
Well, soon as you
Mhm.
got married, for better, for worse, for sickness and health, that includes that.
Yes.
So I hate the phrase, but man up, damn it.
Right.
And another thing I want to share with autism parents, and this is going to sound odd, I suggest to every single autism parent that they read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's a treatise. It's must be like 1,000 years old. Chinese general writing about war. But if you Google it, sports coaches use it. It's required reading at West Point, Yale University. One of the things that, excuse me a second, I get emotional.
It's okay.
One of the things early on, when I brought my kids to YAI, we had a great psychiatrist. He retired a couple of years ago, Dr. Mayer. And one of the things that he said to us was, you got to pick and choose your battles. You're not going to win all of them. So you got to think, what am I willing to give up to get this goal? And one of the things that I said to him, I said, well, I'm the boy's father, and he said to me, as soon as your ego gets in the way, you have lost. You got to put that out of your head. Because you're on uncharted territory here. You can't think in those terms. So you have to, parents don't like to negotiate with their kids. But with these kids, you have to.
Mhm.
Okay, you want this, but I want you to do this. So it's like you kind of coax them. I'll say, I'll give you cookies, but I want you to put your toys in the box. Things like that. Now, again, the issue of the big phrase I always remember is, you got to pick and choose your battles. One of Sun Tzu's early teachings is, do not fight a battle you cannot win.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who's an autism parent, all of us right now, imagine there's a lot of people shaking their heads out there in the internet land. You come up to that point where, I'm not winning this one, am I? You give it up. Give up this battle, try to win the war.
That's so key, because if you do not have a child that's autistic and, is just a regular, I don't know what the term is, a regular kid or whatever, not to say autistic children are not regular, neurotypical is the proper term. Thank you so much. So if you have, thank you. If you have a neurotypical child, you tell them, go sit down or do this, or you're not getting this, or no way this is happening. And that's it. You're done with this. We're done with this discussion. Like I tell my kid, that's it. We're done. However, as you just mentioned, if you have a child that's autistic, you're not going to win the battles, right? So Stephanie, I want to bring that over to you a little bit to say, I know that you're working with Autism New Jersey. So if you could chat a little bit and wrap, with Autism New Jersey, some of the programs that you guys have, or do you work with other organizations and do you work with other states? Maybe you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So as I said, we have those 4 service pillars. So we work a lot with families and other professional organizations, the Department of Health, the Department of Children and Families. We have contracts with those state agencies to provide our helpline services. So families of any area and caregivers and professionals can always reach out to our helpline, 1-800-4-AUTISM. And we can provide them if they're looking for referrals or resources. We have a long list of publications on respite. We worked in conjunction with Autism Speaks on a respite guide. We have one on elopement and wandering that's very common in the autism community. A child might run away or take off. We also have a wonderful one. They're all able to be downloaded in any language. And we have the hard copy in English and Spanish of Autism Start Here, What Families Need to Know. So it walks families through, I think my child might be on the spectrum, my child just diagnosed, What do I do now? How do I access services? What do I look for in a special education program? What are best practice standards? So we do a lot of that with our helpline, and our state contract with the Department of Children and Families is in each county of the state. There's a care manager organization, a family support organization, and mobile response. I'm not sure if other states have similar things as well, but what we do there is we provide service navigation and clinical trainings on autism, on guardianship, on IEPs, on a wide range of topics. So we do a lot of trainings there. We don't do direct service with individuals with autism, but we do provide consultation. We do provide higher level reviews if needed. We do trainings. We do a lot of resource dissemination. And our public policy department at Autism New Jersey serves as the collective voice for the autism community through initiatives in collaboration with legislature and state departments. So one of our biggest accomplishments in our public policy department was recently the state Medicaid program in New Jersey that's called New Jersey Family Care. And it launched a benefit on April 1st that Medicaid now will cover ABA, otherwise known as applied behavior analysis.
Yay.
Applied behavior analysis is a type of intervention that has the most research support for helping individuals with autism increase new skills and decrease challenging behaviors. So there are currently over 400, probably more than that, different treatment options marketed for autism with varying amounts of research support. So it's really important that families, when they have a child who has just been diagnosed with autism, and whether you're a parent or a professional, to always remember to look to what the research says about the many treatment options that you might come across. Because there's a lot of conflicting information marketed as autism treatment, and it's a very confusing and overwhelming process for parents. If you go online and you Google autism treatment, there's a big difference on there between this is an evidence-based treatment for autism versus this is a testimonial. And it's not built on evidence. It's not supported by empirical information. So another part of our education and training service pillar is disseminating information and resources on what the research suggests about different methodologies, how to know if an intervention is working. And our website, if you go on autismnj.org, on the top tab, it says treatment. And we have on our website, there's a link, it says framework for understanding what is evidence-based when supporting individuals with autism. It's so important for families to feel empowered. This is what the research is showing is going to help my child, and advocating for the types of services that are going to remediate those core deficits of autism and teach those functional skills. And there are decades worth of research demonstrating the effectiveness of applied behavior analysis, otherwise known as ABA therapy. It's considered the gold standard for working with individuals with autism across the age span, from age 1 up through adulthood. So it's really important to always look to what the research says. And another very helpful website for families and professionals is asat.org. It's a wonderful website that provides a very reader-friendly breakdown on different interventions that have been marketed for autism, and it will tell you this is supported by research. More research is needed to see whether or not this is going to be effective for the autism community, or this type of intervention was tested and it's shown to be harmful or ineffective. So it's really important to always know, families can also always call our helpline, and we're happy to send them any types of resources that they want on autism treatment.
So can you give us the helpline number one more time?
Sure, it's 800-4-AUTISM. And you can also, if you go on our website, autismnj.org, we have live chat. So you can type in your question, and many times there's a live chat representative there. If not, they can open a ticket, and we always get back to them within 48 hours at the most. You can also email information@autismnj.org. And we have, as I said, a lot of very helpful publications on transition to adulthood, housing, IEPs, applied behavior analysis, autism start here, what families need to know. We have a respite guide. We have a lot of wonderful publications that can be downloaded, or right now, because of the pandemic, we used to do free shipping, but you can go on and download any of those.
Excellent. So if you folks, if our listeners have had a chance to go grab a pen and a piece of paper, I will give you the number again for the Autism New Jersey helpline. So you've been listening to hear us chat about all these questions, getting all your questions answered. If you still need more information, which I'm sure, as Roberto will tell you, you will need lots of information. So
Yep.
you can call 800, the number 4, autism, AUTISM. So 800, the number 4, autism. And for those of us, most of us were in the homes. Some people don't, you know, they don't bother using the phones anymore. Listen,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Okay. You have some sort of device, you have a phone, a tablet, something. So get online and look at the website. It is autismnj.org. And so I want to ask though, I forgot my train of thought. I saw some comments popping up in here. Since we have listeners from different states, again, does Autism New Jersey work with you? Do you have to be a resident of New Jersey to take advantage of the Autism New Jersey services?
No, we're happy to share. Our tagline is the power of connection. So we don't do direct consultation or direct services, but we do disseminate resources. We have publications, and we are always happy to do anything we can to help parents, caregivers, or professionals if they are looking for a referral, if they have any questions on clinical needs, on treatment, different questions on prevalence, interventions, research evidence on certain treatments. We are always doing our best to help the autism community as a whole. And one thing I really want to just take a quick moment to say is, when you go to our website, if you go on the education and training tab, I mentioned this in the beginning, we have our annual conference, and it's one of the most well-respected autism conferences in the nation. This year it was virtual. So we provided 3-month, 90-day, 24/7 access for only $99. You'll get access to over 60 workshops. We also had this year 4 live Q&A sessions on social skills, challenging behavior, insurance, and race and culture. And they were amazing. We have national expert speakers. So we have topics on hygiene, sexuality, challenging behavior, diagnosis, legal issues, clinical needs, financial concerns, transition to adulthood. You get access to all of those handouts as well. We have an exhibitor hallway with lots of information. That might be a little bit more specific in terms of the exhibitors to the state of New Jersey, but the resources are all applicable to all individuals with autism. They can help lots of families. And I say that because we do still have parent scholarships. We're trying to work with families so that they can benefit from all of that information and get access to that. So you can also go on our website and complete a parent scholarship application. Or if you want, Reese or Carol, I can give you my email, and they're more than welcome to email me too.
Yes, please. We'll definitely take that. Thank you so much. And we'll post that information as well on all of our social media platforms so that we can let everybody keep them updated on that. I do have another question as well. This is a listener question that we're getting right now. Roberto, this might be something that you want to give us a quick, some information on in terms of, now that we're all in the pandemic, right? how is it affecting folks that are autistic? I would imagine, I guess it depends again on the level, your level where you are, but we're all stuck in our homes, this and that. How are some of the autistic people, how are your children affected? And maybe Stephanie, once Roberto is done, you can also tell us if you've heard anything.
Sure.
Real quick before that, Kim, remember that Kim has experience with that too, so she can
Right.
actually um elaborate on that too.
Yes.
Well, first I'd like to say thank God for the internet. That keeps them very much entertained. Now, I live here in New York City. I live in Manhattan. Um, in Soho, it's not been that difficult to social distance. So what we've been doing is we've been following Governor Cuomo's advice and his guidelines. We stay out of, the obvious things. You don't go to places that are too crowded. Make sure that they wear a mask. Excuse me. Um, Try to establish a routine because a lot of autistic people, they like a routine and they don't like it when their routine is upset. So try to modify it. One of the things right now he's not in his day hab program. So one of the things that I do is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, sadly, I go downstairs to the coffee cart and I get him his cinnamon roll. He used to get that every day, so some sort of treat in the morning while waiting for the bus. So now I just go downstairs and get it.
Okay.
Actually, I make his older brother do it. I'm not stupid. That's why I had
Okay.
two. That's why I had two.
But
Another thing,
okay,
another
go
thing
ahead,
that we've
sorry.
been doing is that you try to balance. So here in the city, we've been fortunate. They've opened up some of the museums, and to go to the museums, you have to, they're reduced capacity. You go online, you reserve your time, and you get the barcode so you can go in. The Bronx Zoo has free days on Wednesdays,
Mm.
free admission. Take your kid to the zoo. You reserve the time, say 3 o'clock. If you get there at 3:30, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Go say hi to the giraffes. Um, Museum of Natural History, if you're a New York City resident, pay as you like. The regular fee for outsiders is like 20, $25. We go to the museum, I give them my $5. I cry poverty. We go say hi to the dog.
You're so funny. Gosh, I love you.
Last week we went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They have the same policy for New Yorkers, pay
Oh,
as you like. Just to get
There
him
you
out of
go.
the house and breathing fresh air.
Yeah.
He's used to getting, being in the day hab program. He's used to going out to McDonald's or getting pizza at lunchtime. Well, within reason, within safety, if it's not too crowded, social distance, wear your mask. Come on, Papa. Let's go get some cheeseburgers.
wow.
Let's go get some pizza. What do you want? Pizza with mushrooms. You got it, pal. Let's go get it. As long as you're reasonable and careful, you can do this.
Right.
The waters are rough, but get in your kayak, get your oar. You can navigate these waters.
I like
Excellent advice. Excellent advice for everyone who is listening. Take some ideas, jot it down, and make some plans for yourself. You can do this. And Stephanie, have you been hearing anything?
Yeah, so and Reese and Carol, what I'll do is I'll send you the links to these articles. So at Autism New Jersey, we really tried our best during the pandemic and continue to create a place where parents and professionals can go. We developed a COVID-19 hub with lots of resources and information for families, since right now, parents and their children's lives have changed considerably. And we are parenting during very extreme conditions, especially for those parents who have a child with autism. They might not be able to engage in community activities, behavioral challenges ranging from minor to extreme, may have definitely worsened. Previously acquired skills may have regressed and now become an issue again when for a while they weren't. I actually wrote an article titled Regression During a Pandemic. So it's helping parents understand what regression is, how to document regression if they feel that they need to communicate it to the school or to where a program that their child may go to, or if their child is in a residential setting, but they still notice regression during times where they may have been home, different ways to document and understand regression. And we have an article also on helping children with autism understand why a mask is needed, because some children with autism or adolescents or adults won't wear a mask. They don't understand the function of it. It might be an aversive feeling for them. So that limits them a lot from participating in the community or having social opportunities. And then it also affects the families because they can engage in certain opportunities that they may have wanted to take their child to. So we have an article helping individuals with autism wear a mask. There's videos on there, social stories to try. Many individuals with autism are visual learners. So if you show them pictures or visuals or do social stories, that might help them a little bit better. As well as an article of in-home suggestions to help parents modify the environment a little, kind of what Norberto said, where creating structure, making time to go outside when you can, being gentle with yourself as a parent. So those 3 articles were developed specifically for the pandemic to help support parents.
Stephanie, could I address one little thing? I don't mean to jump in. The issue with masks. Over the years of my experience, I've learned that many autistics have issues with texture and touch. So if your child is having issues with the mask, it might be, again, it might be as simple as the material. You know, it might be he doesn't like the paper mask. He might prefer a cloth mask, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. It could be a thing. Even they might prefer a cloth cotton bandana. Don't just dismiss. He doesn't like masks. Try other things. You might get him to do.
Right.
He might like, if the child might like the bandana, you say, "Hey, you look like a cowboy." You can trick him.
I heard of because of those tactile sensitivities that individuals with autism may have, where one may prefer cloth or one may prefer, like Norberto said, a bandana, or I recently heard of a kind of lycra material mesh mask, which I don't know how effective a mesh mask is because
Yeah.
I did hear that they are out there and a little bit more tolerable. Maybe it's better than nothing.
At least you got to get them to introduce the idea of wearing something on their face, and then work them up to a cloth or paper mask.
Right. To kind of desensitize them and make it less aversive in the beginning.
It ain't easy being us.
It's not. And I think that's what you have helped us to appreciate today, the difficulty of this. And I want to jump over real quickly to Kimberly, who is our 3rd co-host here on our show at Let's Connect. And I do know that you also have some experience, right, Kimberly? And welcome, Ben, by the way. Welcome.
How
You
you doing?
Hey, Ben.
How you doing? Hello, how is everyone today?
Hanging out.
Good. I'm sorry I'm running late, but when you're running a business, this is what happens. Well, I have a couple of experiences with that. I have a nephew that has autism. He's 9 years old. My little sweetheart, I adore him. It's a bit challenging. Also, too, I have, let me start with my friend. She passed away like a year ago, but many years when she had a little boy, and that was my first time before my nephew was born. And he had autism. That's how I kind of know how to deal with my nephew. He had autism, and finding out one day, my friend, I'll just briefly tell you that she came to work. We used to work in the makeup department, and she was just so upset and everything. And I said, "What's wrong, Sharon?" And she said, "Daniel, I just don't know what to do with him. I don't know." I said, "Well, calm down. What happened?" We all knew that he had autism, but I didn't know much about it at the time. And she says, I took him to Dunkin' Donuts. And she says, we always go to the same one, but and we always get everything that he wants, one specific donut. But I took him to another one because it was out the way, the one that we always go to, because I was going to be late for work. And Daniel went crazy. He absolutely went crazy. She said, I got him everything he wants. The same thing he always gets. She goes, Kim, I don't know what to do. I don't know what happened. I said, well, I don't know. I said, well, what, maybe he just probably wanted to go to that, specific one. At that time, I didn't know anything about, autism. So I'm just trying to make her feel good. But just understanding how she was so frustrated, and she learned to get, used to other things. So finding out with them, if they're going to a certain place and that's their routine, if you cut into their routine, I found that out, that it can kind of disturb them. It doesn't matter that Daniel was getting the same glazed donut and whatever he was getting, or croissant or whatever. It's because he was going to a different Dunkin' Donuts. It wasn't the same that his mom takes him. So I found that out too, that was a big problem.
Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. So you're thinking, but I'm giving him the same thing. And as a parent, you get very upset and very frustrated because you don't really quite understand. So with autism, kids, you have to understand. Well, it kind of helps me a little bit to understand my nephew now, going to my nephew now, which my sister, and then my sister has a daughter that's 18. They really just don't understand him as well. They get very frustrated with him. It's me and my mom is the one that really kind of takes a little bit more time in understanding him. He's such a humble and sweet boy, but he talks to himself, speaks out loud, goes, okay, this is how he behaves. That's his behavior. He looks up in the ceiling. He just does some, weird behavior. And I knew right then and there that he was I said, something's not right. I think he has a form of autism. And finding out, she didn't want to believe it. And finding out that he really did have it when she had him checked out. And she goes, she came to me later on and said, he has it, and I don't know what to do. And I said, well, honey, you know what? You got to get some help for him. And you got to be, and just the things that he does and everything. But I'm the aunt that jumps in and said, okay, when she yells and screams. When she's telling him, I learned also too, when she tells him to do something, he has to say something back, but I didn't do that. And she goes, but you did it. But I didn't do it. But you did. I didn't do it. And I said, TJ, okay, enough. Listen, but I didn't do. Listen, I said, it's enough. But she yells and screams at him. And I said, sis, enough with you. Come on. And everything. And and he always refers everything. I'm going to tell my T, meaning me, and everything like that, So my sister goes, oh, whatever, go ahead. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. You got to really learn about, it can be frustrating, because trust me, it can, because he does some things in the house and everything like that. But a lot of times, if I get on him, he'll come in the kitchen and he just comes, they speak their mind also too. And you just got to get used to that. If he smells something in the kitchen, goes, T, I don't want that smell that you have in that kitchen. It really stinks and I don't like it and all that. And I said, okay, that's enough. Why don't you like T's food? So I don't yell at him and say, what do you, I just don't do him like I would do other kids.
Right.
And why do you say that about T's things and stuff? She's making you nice food. And I said, I'm going to make you something nice. He goes, okay, I know. I said, yes, I'll do anything you want, whatever. And that's how I am with him. And my sister's like, oh God, really? Seriously? And I have to talk to her and tell her, I need you to stop. And one time I broke down and started crying because he's such a sweet boy. He really is. And I just feel so bad sometimes because she really upsets me and it hurts me really, really bad because he can't help it. And she doesn't be patient with him. And she wanted to give him up. She wants to give him up for an adoption. And it's not fair.
But
and
you have to understand too,
I just don't want anything to do with them if they do that to him. Because I don't want anything to do with him. If she does that, I'm done. And I told my mom, I can't handle that.
See, and that's what we're saying, that some parents, they're not ready for that. As Norberto said, they didn't sign up for it, but at the same time, maybe there should be some kind of workshop or training or something to help the parents too, because
There
they're going
is.
through it. They, you know.
There is and there are. I want to address what Kim said specifically. Kim,
Mhm.
I was your sister in the beginning. I didn't get it. And it's something I regret. And I beat myself up a lot for. I didn't understand in the beginning. It took me a long time to get it. And one of the things that's hard to get is, and it's one of the reasons why I started studying Buddhism. It's hard, but you have to erase yourself. What you put out, the energy that you put out is what will be reflected and magnified back to you.
That's right.
And I had learned, the hard way that there were times no parent wants to call the police on his child. But there have been times over the years, and thankfully I could count them on one hand, where my youngest meltdowns were so violent where I had to call NYPD and have them taken to the hospital. By the way, shout out to the first precinct, NYPD, very autism aware, very cognizant of my feelings, and very, very supportive. And the reason why I bring that up is because looking back with 2020 hindsight, he would agitate, which got me agitated, which made him more agitated, which made me more agitated. Throw into this mixture, his older brother's autistic too. He gets agitated, which agitates me, which agitates him, and this whole circle goes. It's like watching a fire tornado during a wildfire. And I had to realize that the only person capable of being in control was me. So I had to, it's not about modifying their behavior, it's about modifying our behavior and how we respond.
Right.
It's easy to get angry and lose it. Believe me, I know. I did this morning, but you got to try to stop yourself, or hopefully have someone like you, Kim, who's there to wave that red flag and just say, everybody stop. Just stop. You go to the bathroom, you come in. The parent, like I said in the beginning of all this, the minute the parent goes to the I'm the mother, I'm the father, you got to do what I got to say, you have lost this battle.
Right.
No,
But I wonder if, Kim, for your sister, there might be like a support group or something that might be beneficial to her. So when she's feeling overwhelmed, etc., perhaps,
Yeah.
and I know that Norberto had talked about this in the beginning of different support groups and stuff that he was a part of, that could possibly help, that could help with that. So when she's feeling that pressure, etc., maybe there are others that, she can reach out to, can talk to. And when you're having a common bond with people who are going through the same thing as you, it makes it a lot easier.
She'll realize that she's
Okay.
not the
think
only.
I think that's
Right.
what she needs. I really do, but I need her to open up and to really, and I've talked to her about that. And I asked her, I said, you need help, honey. He needs help. You need help, and he needs help. You
Yeah.
really need to try to, you
Right.
need to be a little bit more patient, but she's not there yet. Oh, I don't have to, I don't, please. TJ just
Right.
wants to do whatever. And I said, no, he doesn't want to do whatever. You have to understand. And even my niece, who's 18, the same thing. She gets really upset with him too. And I said, you two need to really stop this. I need you guys to really stop this. This is really annoying. You can't do that. One day he was supposed to stay outside and he ran off. And one day I went to go get him outside and I'm looking for him and I don't see him. Well, make a long story short, we couldn't find him in the neighborhood. Oh my God, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, where is he? So I went walking around the entire neighborhood. I'm looking for him. I'm looking for him. So finally, when he, we found him, somebody else found him actually. Somebody saw me panicking and my sister, she was just like, I don't know where he is. I don't know. But I'm the one who does all the panicking. That's my little sister, but she's the one like, oh my God, sis, you're so extra. That's how she is with me. And, the person found him and I'm just glad he was, found or whatever and everything. And then when we said to him, so she was screaming and yelling at him. And I said, okay, enough, no screaming, and yelling. So I asked him, I said, TJ, why would you leave where your mother, what did your mother tell you? She told me don't, well, I was just, no, what did she tell you? No, I was just, I said, no, because just sometimes he's so sweet and everything. And I feel so sorry for him and everything. I said, what did she tell you? He's going on and on about something else. I said, did she tell you not to go anywhere and to stay here? Yeah, he says. And I said, so why did you leave? And she won't talk to him like that. And then I said, well, you know what? You're on a punishment. I'm sorry, you got to be on a punishment because you didn't listen. She's screaming and yelling, and it just made a big thing. But mommy, I didn't. But when I'm talking to him, he's like, okay, T. And I tell her, so you cannot do that. And it's part of his autism. You got to understand him. The screaming and yelling makes it worse. You should hear them in the house. Oh my God, it's crazy.
But Stephanie, I want to ask a question with piggybacking off Kim. You remember you said there are different levels of autism, right? Now, based on what you're hearing her saying about her nephew, like me, I could not, if I had an autistic child, I couldn't punish them. I would just feel so guilty, like it's not their fault. It's like, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, how much can you expect from an autistic child? Like, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't know first I'd be freaked out because we don't know where he is. No, you find him and I don't know.
So
So,
here's the thing before Stephanie says anything. The reason why, because I believe in discipline. And I know that he is autism because he's very, very smart. But when I tell you very smart, he's extremely smart, honey. So my thing is the whole beating and popping and yelling and screaming, no.
Right, I get that.
I have to let him know that guess what? You cannot go outside because we can't trust you. You go and he knew not to go, but he did what he wanted to do. He was in someone's house in the neighborhood. This place is huge. So you can't go. Your punishment is that you cannot go outside. You can go on the patio, we can watch you, but you're not allowed outside by yourself. So that's it. And guess what? It doesn't happen anymore. So discipline, yes, I do believe in that. And even though he is autism, but there's a way of speaking too. Even if he was a regular kid, the same thing I raised my niece that was 18. The same thing. The difference in my sister, she couldn't stand. I can't take her anywhere.
Shouter, like myself. I'm a shouter.
See, I wasn't like that. See, and that's the thing about it. When Pumpkin goes with me, Pumpkin is just fine in the store. I said, Pumpkin, when we go in that store, you don't touch that. Unless you ask me. Do you hear me? Yes, Steve. When she goes with my sister, she tears up the place. Every time she goes, man, this is 2 years old. It depends on how you discipline that kid. And not one time I ever laid my finger on her. But guess who did? Her mom. So it depends on discipline. I'm not bringing up the Bible, but it's in there. You discipline your kids, they will love you. If you don't, well,
Right,
Which-
but we were talking about that as well, Kim, in
Mhm.
terms of the discipline and the level and
Effort.
how effective or not it may be depending on the level of autistic or autism in that child. So Stephanie, back to the question with you, you know, we were wondering if you have any suggestions, and I want to respect your time as well, because I know I asked you to come on for a certain amount of time. And
Fine.
you know, let me know when you
Like,
need to
yeah,
go.
when you need to go.
Yeah. So what's really important to remember is, although if a child with autism on files or paperwork may say in general they are falling a little bit more, mainly just so the paraprofessional or the provider or the teacher gets a little bit of background, oh, maybe level 1 or level 3, they need substantial supports, that's still going to be individualized for everybody. It
Mhm.
just mean, oh, because they're on the lower end of the spectrum or the middle end of the spectrum or the extreme end of the spectrum that they need X, Y, and Z. You never want to assume based on a specific skill deficit or a specific diagnosis that it's one size fits all, because especially for autism, it's always individualized.
Mhm.
Important to understand, it's something I'm very passionate about because I've worked with many, many children with autism, and I always had expectations of, these are the rules. This is what I want you to do, because life skills, you need to know that someone might give you a rule or somebody might give you a contingency. Like, if we do this, then we can have that. First, we're going to do this, and then you can get that. If you run outside, maybe you're not going to earn later today because of that. And it helps them to understand a clear connection between, if I do this, something really good happens. Or if I do this, maybe something I don't like will happen. Like I'll lose a privilege, or I will get verbally spoken to in a stern way. A lot of times, what doesn't work for individuals with autism is scolding, yelling, screaming, time.
Right.
It doesn't work. And you have to understand that for individuals with autism who have limited communication skills, they have a lack of emotional understanding. They are not as intrinsically motivated to, quote, do what they're supposed to. And a lot of times, like Norberto said, it's a give and take. I might not win this battle, but I'm going to do the big picture. The big picture is I might meet you in the middle here, but the big expectation is we're going to take a shower. If you want to do this first, I'll meet you in the middle. Or if we do follow our evening routine, or if you do your schoolwork, or if you have chores, I'm going to give you something external to earn, because individuals with autism need to be motivated. And that's something that, especially in the beginning, parents have difficulties understanding that, well, I'm their parent and they should just do it because I said so. But unfortunately, with autism, it just doesn't work that way. So that's what you have to realize. They have a disability, and it's my job to understand that disability, and their behaviors might be maladaptive to us, but it's some form of an adaptive behavior to them. They're getting some type of need met, or it might feel good to them, or it might be the way that they communicate right now because they don't know another way to do it. So our job is, yes, I believe, because I believe in all individuals, and I've worked with many who could barely even communicate, but they could understand what I was saying. And I just believed in them enough to know, okay, first we're going to sit down and do our work, then we're going to do that. And I'm going to uphold this for you because I believe that you know what I'm saying. And like Kim was saying, individuals with autism are very smart. And I've seen a night and day difference between, oh, I'm with Miss Steph in the classroom, and then I'm with Miss Amy in music, and she doesn't have the same expectations, and I know it. They know.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. But we have to understand and provide those expectations in a way that has empathy and love, and yes, being consistent, but understanding that those social interaction and communication deficits and restrictive repetitive patterns of behavior are in the diagnostic manual. They are a core clinical deficit of autism. So yelling at them for it is not going to ever improve it. Trying to be proactive instead of reactive is helpful. What do you need from me? What can I maybe teach you before you escalate to a tantrum? Is really about understanding your child, their precursor behaviors, and when you can step in and help them calm down, help them or model for them. I know you're really mad because we didn't go to the Dunkin' Donuts that you liked, but we still got a donut. You know, like kind of recognizing their emotions helps. It's called, you know, like labeling how they feel or modeling it for them. Because if you had duct tape on your mouth all day and you had a headache and you couldn't tell anybody, or you needed a break and you didn't know how to ask for one, or something in your pants is really bothering your skin and you can't tell anyone how that feels, how would you communicate with your body? Because you can't get it all out, or you can't communicate in a way that's going to help other people understand. So it's important to have expectations. I believe all children, and including those with autism, they need boundaries. Children crave boundaries, even though they want to say that they don't, they need them. It gives them a sense of security, but it's important that we understand some of those deficits are obviously going to affect their ability to develop and maintain relationships appropriate to their developmental level, because they're dealing with a lot of challenges. So our job is to try to understand, what is this challenging behavior trying to tell? What are they trying to maybe tell me that I could teach them or model for them? And it's really important that you have a specialist who understands autism, or a board certified behavior analyst, or a BCaBA, similar to how a speech therapist works on speech and language goals. Occupational therapists work on gross motor skills or body awareness. A board certified behavior analyst, which you're seeing more and more in states and in school districts, help parents and teachers and the child understand the function or the communicative message behind challenging behaviors and what skills to teach, so that this individual is more independent, can communicate better, because there's such a correlation between that lack of communication or how restrictive repetitive patterns of behavior interfere with learning and being able to be compliant. But what often never works is yelling, scolding. It doesn't make it better, because that's not how they learn. They learn through consistency and practice and watching somebody do it, and then they practice it and maybe they get reinforced for doing it. No longer reinforcing the challenging behavior. So if I have someone who's kicking me because they want a snack, I don't want them to kick me for a snack. I don't want to give a snack after kicking. What I want to do is model, you know, I'm hungry, or snack please, or if they can't talk, maybe sign it for them and wait for them to imitate that, or do the best they can to imitate, and honor the good behaviors. Really reinforcing the good and not always focusing on what was wrong. And that's really important, to have that empathy for individuals with autism, while still upholding, you know, I believe in you and I know that we can get there, and might, you know, progress might be more slow, but yelling and scolding and things like that for things that aren't their fault isn't good.
Stephanie, if I could jump in real quick.
Right.
You said something that I use this metaphor, especially when my youngest was diagnosed as nonverbal. I consider an apt metaphor, but it's like having a big dog. There's something wrong with your dog. You know there's something wrong with the dog. And you go to your dog, what's the matter, boy? What's wrong? Like your dog is going to tell you, you know, it's not going to tell you. You got to kind of figure it out. Right. And that's the way sometimes it is with these kids. You know, you ask them what's wrong, and they're not communicating in a way that you understand them. And you got to figure it out.
Exactly.
And it's important to remember that, because it's a term used a lot. Oh, they're nonverbal. Well, they might still have a lot to say. They just can't say it with words. So a good recommendation is to try and have them have a speech therapist or someone who understands autism and communication very well, so that they can understand what type of alternative or augmentative form of communication they may need, whether it's a device or teaching them sign language or giving them a PECS book or giving them, I've helped families who don't have either yet and just know their child can't really expressively talk that well, but know that they have things to say and it's relating to their challenging behaviors, a critical communication board. And it just had 10 pictures: help, tired, hungry, bathroom, bored, play with me, I need my, and then a few of their favorite toys that they like as a backup to say, show me what you need, and they can point to it. Non-expressive doesn't mean that they're nonverbal. There's lots of verbal behaviors, as I said, advice, texts, pictures, purposeful eye contact, purposeful pointing. That's a form of communication too. And it's our job to try to help them with, obviously we want all children with autism to talk, but what we really want is for them to communicate with whatever way that might be best for them so that they don't feel so stressed inside. And that relates to challenging behaviors. But yelling at them for it is not going to help. It's not going to teach them new skills.
Agreed. And Ben, I think you had a question, right?
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up this session real quickly, but I want to take your question.
All right, thank you. This is for Stephanie and Norberto. I'm an educator, so what are some key points you could present to those who are listening about kids who are autistic when it comes to education? Because the teachers, I know they have special programs, but I know, how does a parent prepare the child to be within, a whole school environment?
It's an individual thing, Ben. Like my youngest son was directly into special ed. He went to special ed school. He had an IEP, an individualized education program.
Yeah.
He even had a part of the IEP, besides listing specific goals, the class size was mandated. We had what they called was a 6-to-1-to-1 ratio. 6 students in the class, 1 teacher, 1 paraprofessional assistant. My oldest son is the one, he went to a regular grammar school, middle school, high school, and he had assistants in the classroom. So one of the things that he got was extra time to complete his assignments.
Right.
Extra points, that always helps.
Yes.
When it was time for his therapies, they came and got him from the classroom and brought him to whatever room they were working with the other kids in speech therapy or whatever. Now, one of the things that I have noticed in my dealing with other autism parents, there are a lot of school systems that are not geared to take care of autistic kids.
Okay.
It's just basically these kids are thrown to the wolves. The teachers don't know what to do. The parents don't know what to do. A lot of kids in this country are mainstreamed who should not be. At the very least, like my oldest son, they need that assistance and that support in the school, in the classroom.
Yeah.
But that also helps them to, to assimilate.
Right.
And
Ben, as an educator yourself, that is your similar experience. Is that, I want to get back to the question you were asking, make sure I'm clear on it.
I say that because when I was training, part of my training and completion for my certification for education, I'm not certified for, working with kids with autism and stuff, okay? But during our training, we met with fellow teachers, and they were demonstrating how it is and what they have to do to work with students who are autistic. And it just blew my mind how, like you said, the non-speakers, being in education, non-speaking, how do you, get things done? They explain how, here, you need this, you have to demonstrate. And they understand. You got some who just, very forceful, those who don't speak at all, just quiet, and they watch, and you have to,
they're putting too much onus on you as the teacher. The same way as we as parents need help, the same way our kids as students need help, you as the teacher also need that same autism support and help, because you're not just responsible for my kid. You got
Right.
another 25 kids in the classroom.
Right.
And that they shouldn't just throw that at you.
Yeah, that
and say
that
it's on
is
the
very
teacher.
challenging if you have what you, Norberto, if you have what you called earlier a neurotypical child or several neurotypical
Several.
children, and then you have some autistic children in the classroom. How does the teacher, I didn't even realize that they're in the same classroom and the teacher is expected to differentiate between the two.
And it
That must be
depends.
challenging.
When Norberto said, special ed, last time when I was in the classroom last year, I had 25 kids. Out of the 25, 5 were special ed, right? I knew from my experience of teaching, I had 5 more that hadn't been diagnosed yet. And one for sure I know slightly was on the spectrum I'm speaking to the mom about. So, I had to be aware of that. And I set that one student away from the craziness, because I knew the noises bothered them. They would do this, you watch for the signs. Like you said, you have to learn. You have to be taught. So when I asked my principal about it, there's some, like you said, there's some crazy stuff within the mechanism of teaching where they can't divulge things. I'm like, what do you mean you can't divulge? If I'm teaching, I need to know everything.
Yeah.
Right.
If you know
How do
something,
you manage that child?
yeah, if you know something, you don't hide that from me, because something can make the child just boom, go off. It's not because, they're weird or anything. No, it's just like if I'm standing in line, someone takes a pin and stick me in my back, I'm gonna react. And to them, from the nerve endings and reaction to life and stuff, you're not used to that. They're reacting too. And you've taken them out of their routine. You've taken them out of their norm. So yes, like any of us, if you're driving a car and a person cuts you off, you react. And that's what it's like, I see.
I imagine
you need to know their triggers. Behaviors.
Stephanie, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to be with all of you. It's a wonderful, wonderful.
This was
yes.
really education.
It was.
Because the only thing I knew about autism was that movie that I watched with Tom Rain Man. Yep. That's the only form of, I didn't know that there were different forms
of
autism. That's the only thing I pictured when I heard autism. It took me back to Rain Man. That's, but Stephanie, you really broke it down, and
yeah,
that's where that spectrum comes in. It really is true. There is such a spectrum.
There was a thing, I believe I was on Discovery Channel a few years ago. You can Google it. It was called Beautiful Minds.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was about special needs people or savants, autistic peoples that they focused on. And one of them was the savant that Dustin Hoffman studied to portray his part in Rain Man.
Yeah.
The real Rain Man.
Right.
The real Rain Man.
The Rain Man, yeah.
All right.
I know we got something today. And Norberto, I'm telling you, you're just like the man. Like,
yes.
I'm telling you, God bless you.
Dropping knowledge on us today. Everything. Thank you so much. This was so educational, informative, and I enjoyed it at the same time. And you all made me cry. It's like, really, come on. I made me cry.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories with us and educating us, because I know that our listeners are listening. They've had questions, and we just wanted to just give them as much information as possible so that they can take it forward, and so that Kim's sister, hopefully she's listening as well, that can hear something that will help her to hopefully open up and maybe reach out to some groups, some support groups, and take advantage of those, so that she'll maybe have a little bit more understanding of some of the other tools that Stephanie talked about that she could use and apply, when dealing with her son as well. And that will help.
And also those parents, for those parents that are out there and you just have that gut feeling that there's something wrong, take them. Don't be in
Take them.
denial. Don't be in denial. It's nothing wrong. Take them
Yeah.
to the doctor and get it, diagnosed as early as possible.
Exactly.
That will help
Right.
them be more prepared in life.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you
Stephanie.
so much. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, Norberto.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norberto.
Anything I can do to help.
Very much.
Thank you.
All right. So, man, what a show. It's awesome. It was good. Good. If you want to stick around, Norberto, you can. You don't have to leave.
That's a very strong topic. The autism
Yeah.
and everything. A lot of people need to know that because a lot of people are in denial about their kids. They don't know what's wrong, and
Yeah.
they don't want to go get them diagnosed to find out that could be something like that.
Right.
Everything. But I didn't even. I'm like I said, I'm not someone that knows, but I knew it was a form of it. I told my mom, I said something's not right. I think he has a form of autism, and
Right.
at that time, no one knew. And then it wasn't until a little bit later finding out, and it came back and said that he was.
In my family, we don't have autism, but we do have. My nephew is Down syndrome, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I kind of have an idea of what.
Mhm.
So it.
And those are the sweet kids with Down syndrome.
Oh
Oh
my
man,
God, my nephew, he is like,
love them.
yes,
Oh man. Oh
yes.
gosh.
So,
They,
yeah. So for all those people out there that's been having issues or, something, I just hope that this program today kind of let them realize that they're not the only ones going through it. There's help out there. As Norberto says, what, Norberto? Ask for help. There's nothing that you won't do for your kids.
Green. Green.
Yep.
I used to say, because one of the things that a lot of autistic parents don't want to do is medicate their children. Now, let me tell you something. Sick people need medicine. You want your child is being tormented. Don't you want your child to have peace? Don't you want peace in the house? My son, my youngest, he's on quite a bit of medications that if it was not on these medications, I don't know what I do.
Wow.
But he's on Thorazine, he's on chlorpromazine, lorazepam, citalopram. Make up a pram. I'll give it to him. I'll give him lizard piss and horse shit if I have to.
Oh,
Whatever, if it helps.
Right.
But you can't do nothing.
You can't do right. You have to do
You can't just give
something.
him yogurt.
mhm.
Like the woman said, and this is something I learned today. What Stephanie said in the beginning, when I got on this sleigh ride, they weren't sure what autism was. So for her to say they finally brought it down to it, it's a neurological disorder. The brain is wired differently. It's not, one thing I like to say is two wrongs don't make a right, but three lefts do. My youngest son, in order to when he was younger, to calm him down, he was given an amphetamine.
Wow.
They gave him speed to chill him out.
wow.
Oh,
After a while, you don't ask why. You just do.
yeah.
And to the parents out there who don't, if your son had a cold, do you give him medicine? If your son had a broken leg, wouldn't you put it in a cast? If your child, a lot of these kids, they have hypersensitivity. Let me explain it to you this way. We are all having a conversation right now. We are able to concentrate on each other and what we're saying. Meanwhile, there's distractions going on. There's traffic outside. The fan is on. Maybe the kids are playing in the next room. But we can filter that out and concentrate on each other. Now imagine that filter is not there.
Mm.
Everything is coming in at the same intensity, at the same volume. A
Right.
whisper is as loud as a shout. A hug feels like a punch. And that's when you got this going on. What do? You go, ah! That's your meltdown right there, because too much. It's too much. Everything is too much. So a lot of these kids, I don't know if anybody saw the Temple Grandin movie where she built herself a machine to squeeze herself, to calm herself down. Other people use weighted blankets on their kids. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor for medicine. If you have a good doctor, what they do is they discuss the medications with you, discuss the side effects, and they will always, a good one, will prescribe the lowest dose. And you go from there. You have to partner with your doctor. And there's going to be back and forth, back and forth. And they're
Okay.
going to ask you, how's he doing? Do you think he needs more? Do you think we go to a time release or medication? You know, you are part of this process. You know, you can't just throw the ball to the doctor. You're on the court. You're playing. You know, you're with the
Yes.
teacher. You're with the psychiatrist. You're with the pediatrician. You
Yeah.
got to be a part of this process and not be afraid. It's frightening.
Absolutely.
It's frightening.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to wrap you up a little bit right now, Norberto. I keep
That's
on
okay. I
seeing.
gotta go cook dinner.
Yeah, I know your sons must be wondering, where is he? Why is he gone so long?
No.
Ladies, it's been
But
a pleasure.
That love
it
it.
has
hope we
been
can
an
do this
absolute pleasure.
All right.
Okay, have a good
Thank
evening,
you
ladies.
so much. And
Right.
listen to us next time, Norberto.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're
So
on
check
every
us out.
Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, we're here every Wednesday. You are welcome to join us. You're a ray of sunshine. So
Yes,
if
Thank
you
you, ladies.
can,
all right.
join us.
Thank you
All
so
Take care.
much.
right.
Bye-bye.
All right. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Man.
So with that, Miss Kimberly, we're running short on time. So now we're going to have to zip on through. And
Listen, after this, the parents do need health and wellness.
Huh?
yes,
No, I said after all of this, and
we
take
need
care
some
of
health and
our
wellness
autistic
to
child.
be poured onto us right now because we need that.
Well, Carol,
So-
me and you have to split the time because it's now 5:25. So we'll do 15 minutes each and everything.
Oh
'cause
my!
I know the end of the
You are doing 15 minutes.
Leave her alone. Don't say
You,
nothing.
you. Oh my God! It's gonna snow. It's gonna snow.
Leave her alone. She's doing fine. Don't say nothing.
We don't have no choice. I can't be selfish and take up the whole of the time.
OMG.
Yeah.
So, getting right into it and everything. This segment is pretty much today is speaking about different types of facial treatment. What's going on right now? It's what's happening with your skin, what's going on, and different treatments that can help you with any problems that you have going on with your skin. And I'm going to name a few. And like I said, we are zipping through this. Sorry, guys, but we had a really good segment just a while ago, and I think it was a really important, conversation
Absolutely.
like that. So
We do. We actually have some listeners who wanted it to go on even more. They loved it that much because it's so
and I
important.
don't blame you, and I really don't blame them.
Yeah,
And
man.
of course.
Yeah.
So going into the Reese, I'm sorry, you were saying something, honey? Reese?
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying something, babe. So anyway, like I was saying, different types of facial treatments that can help you with any type of problems that you have going on right now with your skin. One of the treatments that I was going to bring up is called microdermal. And when I said, before I start going on about what treatment, and when I said problems that's going on with your skin, meaning if you have any type of breakouts or acne, and we do have adult acne, it's just not for the teenagers, uneven skin tone, hyperpigmentation, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, eczema, different things like that going on, congestion under the skin. And you need to know, some people don't know what they need to do. Oh my God, all these things are happening to my skin, and I have no idea what I'm going to do and what I need to do to help clear that. First and foremost, I'm going to always say to everybody out there, everybody, I think, should always be able to seek professional help. If it's not a dermatologist, it's an esthetician. And this way we can diagnose and see what's going on with your skin. And well, let me just say the dermatologists will diagnose. Estheticians, we would do a skin analysis. Let me repeat that, okay? Because we're not doctors. And we can see what's going on with all the conditions that you have going on with your skin. So speaking of one of them is microdermabrasion. Pretty popular treatment, been out for ages and all. It's a mildly abrasive. You can get it done with crystals or you can get it done actually with diamond chips. So it's a mildly abrasive instrument that sands your skin. It sounds really, harsh. Removing the thicker, uneven outer layer. It will help treat any light scarring, discoloration, damages, or stretch marks. And you really will literally see some results in that when you're, receiving that treatment. Andrew, I've done that treatment on you, and I saw a difference right after we did that treatment on your skin. Before we had a before and after pic of the microdermabrasion, and that was the scooping.
Yeah.
Of to lighten up the skin and all that. And depends on what you're pairing it with also too as well. Another one, a newer one that came out, not recently, but it's been out for a while, but it's newer on the market, and that was hydra dermabrasion, which is a little bit better. That's one of my favorites. So you're actually doing things with water. So this removes dead skin cells and impurities while bathing the healthy underlying skin with deep cleansing, because you're extracting exfoliating and antioxidant serum. So that's one of my favorites because that actually, it's a suction and it sucks any dirt or any blackheads or anything in your skin, and it goes over into another container of dirty water. And that leaves your skin nice and clean, pulls out. That can be also considerably a deep cleansing facial also too as well. But it also extracts your skin as well because it's taking out the blackheads, it's exfoliating the skin at the same time and infusing antioxidant serum into the skin. So amazing treatment, one of my favorites that I do offer here in the salon also too as well. Another, yes.
Sorry,
Sure.
real quick. What about the 24 gold facial? I hear about that a lot.
24 karat gold, I do offer that to myself here in the salon. 24 karat gold is one of my favorites around this time of the year. You can get it anytime. It's not any specific time, but usually around the time of the holidays, people love that extra glow. People going to parties and, Christmas parties. So they always say they want that extra glow, going on.
So it leaves a glow.
Huh?
So it leaves a glow.
Oh, yes, it does. And it's real 24 karat gold that you're using on the skin. So it's an amazing treatment if you pair it with another treatment, meaning if you do like a dermaplaning or a microdermabrasion or a hydrodermabrasion, you can also put that 24 karat gold. And people doesn't realize it's not just the gold that 24 karat gold give you. It actually firms and tightens up the skin. So it actually is really great for the skin. So it's not just the glow, the 24 karat gold glow that you get to the skin, but you got a lot of benefits. It helps firm and tighten up that skin also too as well. And it helps with impurities. So a lot of people, that's a really popular one too, during around the holiday time. So one of my favorites and special going on with that, I'll let you know about that too. So anyway, chemical peels is another one of my favorite also too. That improves the texture of the skin. Chemical peels remove the outermost layers of the skin by using a chosen peel solution that helps with uneven skin tone, acne breakouts, the texture of your skin changes. Amazing treatments. I actually just want to show you a couple of the treatments that here, if you can really see close up. Can you see? Oh God, I don't know if I'm doing it. I don't know. Can you see, guys? Oh, wait, okay. Maybe on this side. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Now, one of the treatments that I called, and I'm gonna call out the treatments, chemical peel is this here lady who received a chemical peel. You can see the three, if you can see it really good, the three different types of treatments that she received from me. You can tell here, because they're all different, all three of the treatments, which I love. This is one of my favorite pictures. She has hyperpigmentation, well, melasma she has. And her problem was that this is sun damage, which these are the things that chemical peel help you with. Uneven skin tone. With your skin tone, you can see that it started evening out. It helps with melasma and hyperpigmentation. Chemical peels again with the acne client that's up here. You can see her before and after pictures with Stephanie. You can see with the breakouts that I was speaking about, the acne, the breakout that you can see there. And you can see what the chemical peel does for the skin also too as well. And yeah, that's one of the things. Okay, so the next treatment, those are the results which you would get out of those treatments when you're getting those particular treatments that I called out. Dermaplaning is one of my number one treatments that I love in here, and it's exfoliant blade to remove vellus, peach fuzz hair, and dead skin, leaving your skin radiant and smooth. Now that is using a scalpel. And hold on one second, guys. I'm really, really sorry. Dermaplaning, like I said, is one of my favorite treatments, and I'm actually going to show you the blade because you get people that would you get on YouTube and people will start saying, "Oh, you can use one of those shaver things that you can buy for $1." No, dear, don't try it because I'm telling you, a total different ballgame. If you ever did use a shaver, that one of those little dollar store shavers, and you shave the hair, your hair grows back stubble, correct?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, why is it when I'm doing my clients, and several of them, I have clients that do it every month and all, this is not happening to them. Here's the blade that you use. These are real sterile. These are the real deal. This is what the surgeons use. Here, let me just take my hand off. This is what the surgeons use to do this treatment. As you can see, it's sealed up in there. Disposable. I like to use disposable because I like my clients to be still very, very comfortable in here and all. So this is the real deal here. So this particular blade here is all a number 10. We have different types of blades and all. Let me show you that and all. This is a sterile micro dermaplaning blade. This is what you use to remove vellus hair, as they call peach fuzz hair on your face, and exfoliate your skin also too as well. If you pair it with an enzyme treatment, it blows you away, and you look amazing, absolute amazing, and all. Your skin is very glowy. You can see the whole difference, the texture of your skin, and all. So, dermaplaning is one of those treatments that one of my favorites. I love that particular treatment. The next treatment I have here is ultrasonic facial. I love this one because it's a good cleansing treatment. Ultrasonic uses cavitation to remove dead skin cells, debris, using a low frequency vibration to remove any harmful substance. Meaning if you have any blackheads or whiteheads or any dead skin, it will remove. It goes like, this is a little bit more advanced one here because you push on the button here and you actually, this is really cool. Watch this. See that coming up?
Ah.
A bit more advancer. That LED is going, the blue light is actually going to kill the bacteria. Oh, wait, can you see it? Oh, sorry. The blue light is going to kill, maybe you can see it from this side. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that side, yeah.
See it? Okay, there are blue light, that's actually LED, that's the blue light. So when I'm actually going over across the face, and I'll just demonstrate here because you have to have water when you're doing this, this is lifting up the dirt. The LED is help killing the bacteria that I'm actually lifting up, and you can see it from here. And it's lifting up all the dirt and making sure your face has to be wet. So this is why this is like this here. And it goes across, it doesn't hurt. It's very, very nice. And all, and it goes glide across and it's killing that bacteria, killing the bacteria that's being removed out from the face. And that it can be under different things. We have different selections here with the ultrasonic blade, sorry. So, and you feel a bit of vibrations on the skin. So it just feels like a little vibration just going across the skin. So great cleansing tool when I'm doing extractions, a little bit more advanced than just a regular one that you're digging into the skin, which people love this better. You get better benefits. Nano needling is my other treatment that I love. This one stimulates collagen production. This is another one of my favorites. It seems like every last one of them is one of my favorites because I love what I do, but stimulates collagen production skin by safely infusing active ingredients. I love that. From your serum through tiny nano needles. This treatment combats fine lines, acne, and hyperpigmentation. One of my clients here, she had the nano-needle. You can see the before and after picture of how the texture of her skin when she does this treatment. Now, it can be a little bit of a costly treatment because the nano needles is very small and they're very, very tiny. So I'll show you those. You probably won't be able to see them as much because they're nano. Anyway, that's this little thing here. And here is the pin. Okay. So you actually put that in there once I can't put it in there now because this is sterile, only if I'm getting ready to use it. And then I just changed the setting on here. And once that's stuck in there like that and everything, I push the button and I'm going over the skin with serum that's infused into your skin. So that leaves your skin looking like this young lady right here, Brenda. And also too, I forgot, Pushpa, which is dermaplaning. Let's go back to dermaplaning. This treatment here, this is what dermaplaning, because dermaplaning will set your skin up so that way you can get your skin treated. So if you have any problems like she has here and that you don't see anymore and all, the dermaplaning will actually set because when it removes all the dead skin and it removes the vellus hair, it lets treatments penetrate better onto your skin. And that way you can start seeing better results on the skin also as well. So that's nano needling, one of my favorite. Micro needling, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it has some great benefits also too as well. So you actually really are going to feel the needles, but you have to, oh God, I lost my train of thought there. You have to numb the face for 30 minutes. So that's a collagen induction therapy, also known as skin needling. Is a cosmetic procedure that involves repeatedly puncturing the skin with tiny sterile needles. And yes, you will see the needles here. This is the real deal. Yeah.
Needles in the face. Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Now, some people can get a little, as estheticians, we're not doctors. So we can only have little prickles of blood. But that whole vampire facial that J-Lo came out that everybody was like, oh, and then not J-Lo, sorry, Kim Kardashian and everything, that is for doctors. So let me just make that perfect clear. That is microneedling with PRP. That is blood infusion into the face and all. That is for doctors or certain nurses can do.
So and Kim, you sit around sticking people in their faces with needles? You do that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can ride with you on that one. But just to go get an injection, right, for my flu shot or something, I am like, oh no.
You have people that they live for those
much
things?
less in my face where I can see. I can't even look at the needle. I'm such a crybaby. I can't even look at the needle.
Then you couldn't do acupuncture.
What? And may if I'm not seeing it, maybe. But she's talking about in the face. I see the needle coming. I'm like, no.
You won't see that. It's very and I have not had anybody to panic or anything like that. You're relaxing and everything, explain the treatment and all that. And your face is numb. You don't feel anything. You have no idea. All you do is feel like I'm doing just going around your face. You have no idea what the heck I'm doing. You don't even see the needle. All you're doing is relaxing with your eyes closed.
You have
go to your face with needles and say, oh, look, this is it.
Get ready. Here comes the needle.
But you have some females out there, they'll do whatever it takes. If it's going to let them look young, they don't care.
Exactly.
So at Botox, you know what I'm saying? No matter how they tell you the side effects of the Botox.
To each his own. To each his own. That's what I say. To each his own. I love the previous treatments that Kim gave us, and I've been doing them, by the way. You'll be proud of me. I've been doing some of those. But the needles, I don't know if I can do that.
That everybody chooses to want and everything like that. I have a client of mine that has perfected skin, and she loves me to death, and she comes every month for 3 years, and she will not let me do the dermaplaning as much as I tell. She says, Kim,
listen,
know that you know what you're doing, and I cannot do the dermaplaning. I have a couple of
that would be me.
When Kim do my face, Kim, you know that little thing that any little thing that give me a little pain, I be like, I remember I have 4 kids, right? So you don't think I can tolerate?
I know.
Yeah.
I do not want to feel an inch. I want to look cute, but no pain.
I
Okay?
had a
But
girlfriend that
I
came
read
here
right
for
says
my
no pain,
concert.
no gain.
I know. And the thing about it is you got a lot of women, like I was doing a chemical peel this morning, and it's a very strong chemical peel, but gives you amazing results. It goes up to 4 layers. This one girl is pretty tough girl and everything. I told her, I said, listen, if you go to 4 layers, you're bad, you know. I'm telling you, you're good. You got some good tolerance and everything. She goes, I'm going to 4 layers. Are you kidding me? I got this. I said, all right, let's do this. We got to the 3rd layer. It was this.
Wait, man, you got so wait. When you did with the first, when you say you went 4 layers, you do one and then you peel it off, and then you do another one and peel.
No. When you're doing 4 layers, it's going around the entire face with the brush.
Right,
The peel solution 1 time,
right.
3
Okay.
gels, and
Oh,
4.
so by the time she reached the 3rd time, it was like on fire.
Oh my God, she couldn't tolerate it. She's beating herself. She's slapping herself. She's this and that. And I had the fan on, and she goes, no. I said, are we going to the 4th layer now? She goes, no, Kim. And I laughed so hard and everything. I calmed her skin down and everything. And then she completely rested. And she goes, wow, I don't feel it again. I said,
I mean, it just comes out for that moment, and then
exactly. I said, if you could have just tolerated that one more, you know, and then she felt bad. I said, don't feel bad, but you appeal. But I mean, you ain't straight gangster like that, like you were saying.
so yeah, I got it. I do my 4 pills.
Exactly, and all that. I love that, you know. I had a girl in here that you wouldn't even expect and everything like that. She went straight for, and she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I like this. So
Wow.
you know, I do my clients like that because they love when I do that because I mess with them. That kind of actually helps them too.
Well, you know, I'm a wimp, so you can't do. I'm the biggest
I'm
wimp.
to get mine done, and I probably go to 2. Yeah, I thought about 3 or 4.
I know, right? I wouldn't even pretend.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Saying anything. So let me just say the last one. I'm gonna let Carol get started. The last one is customized facials. Now, customized facials these are one of my favorites also too. Here we go again. Another favorite of mine.
Every one of them is your favorite.
I know.
Yeah, right?
They're
all favorites.
Needle is not really my favorite. The nano needle, but not micro. So anyway, customized facials I love because I get to look at your face and I get to look at Reese's face and I look at somebody else's face and I get to customize what treatment and what products I'm going to use. It's amazing. So I'm the one get to customize. I'm in charge.
It's all into your hands.
What kind of facial that I'm going to give her. And it does depend on what's going on with your skin. So customized facials are putting things together to give your client the most out of their treatment. You know, I love when my clients remember and know exactly what treatment that they received from me and to say, oh, I love that one. Can we do this one again? That means that it really helped with their skin. They did see some results and they're watching out what treatments they received from me. So I love when they get involved with those treatments and all and everything. So customized treatments is something that's really, really
And
nice.
real quick before you end the segment, how often do you do your facial? Can you do it every month?
Once a month is very, very good if you want to see results. Once every 2 months, if you're using, to me personally, if you're using the appropriate product. So it doesn't necessarily, if you don't come that month to get a facial, that, oh God, your face is going to go back bad. But the thing about it, you won't see the results. If you're using products on your skin that you're not seeing any results or anything like that, then, you know, there
So
you have
twice a month would be good too?
Well, it depends on what you're getting. So if you're getting if you're getting twice a month, you don't want to do anything too aggressive on the 2 times that you're getting. I've had people that did that also too as well. And just also to let you know too, there's several other different facials. I just could not have listed them today and everything. There's tons of different types of facials, but I just want to leave you on this note. Anybody that's ever going to see a dermatologist or a esthetician and they get a facial, speak to your esthetician, sit down with a nice consultation, sit down with them so that way they can figure out what is it that they're going to offer you for your skin. Tell them what your problem is, what you don't like, and then if you know, good estheticians will also see other things that's going on with your skin too as well. But she will listen to you for all the things that you want that you need or you don't like about your skin and that she can help you change. And she will definitely customize one of those treatments that I said for your skin if it's, if it's something that's for you.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yes. So thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was amazing.
You're
The
more than
health and wellness segment, as usual, is one of our favorites because it somehow it relaxes me when I listen to all this stuff.
I know.
me too.
You know.
Okay. After this conversation, literally need.
Yeah.
Need it.
Well, we can have a bit of everything. You see what I'm saying? Which is really nice. You have a little bit of everything.
We are a variety show.
That's
great.
right.
Variety.
That's right. That is what we are. So with that, we've been talking. Ooh, boy, we can talk, man. We start at 3:00 and we talk straight.
Every Wednesday around this time we always say, so we can chat.
Yeah.
We talk from starting at 3:00 and we don't stop. But we're going to take a little break right now to play as what we normally do. We're going into our voiceover segment right now. So as you guys know, my name is Carol Tanya, and I am the founder of Lights Action Voiceover. And what do we do? And what do we mean by that? We mean that I am a voiceover artist, and I have other voiceover artists who do work with me. And what we do is use voiceover to help to amplify your business and help to amplify your brand. So really what it is helping your brand image, regardless of whatever your brand is or what your product is that you have. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Voiceover could help to enhance your business, to tell your customers about who you are. Because, video is wonderful. And I love using video to highlight a product. So if you have, let's say you make shoes or you make clothes or you make accessories, how are people going to know about it? Yes, you show them pictures, but oftentimes you might want to write something very descriptive about it. Say what it is, say where it came from. You might have, a lot of times you go on the internet, you're on the web or something, and you see something written about it. Oh, this came from West Africa, or it came from around the corner in Brooklyn somewhere. I make this out of my basement. But oftentimes, especially today, people are moving so fast. They're not reading. They're not stopping to read all the copy that you painstakingly, took the time to write about. However, if with your pictures or your video, there is voice, someone describing what your product is or talking about the necklace and, highlighting all the fabulous things about it, the color, the style, the make, who made it, how many hours it took, just something descriptive, it would be so wonderful and it would get a lot of support. And that's what voiceover really is. And again, there are many, many different forms of voiceovers. Like I always tell you, one for especially small businesses, something as simple as your voicemail. And I've been telling folks this forever, and I keep saying it. And I do have some clients now who are listening and are asking to get their voicemails done, because it's very simple. Rather than having your customers call you, just because you're a small business, you don't have to advertise that you're a small business. Exactly. When they call you and hear your voicemail saying, all kind of noises in the background, or they hear your pots banging down in the kitchen somewhere, or the kids screaming in the background, and that's your voicemail, and you're talking over that. Hi, I'm not available. Call me back later or something.
All right.
So you want to have a professional sounding voicemail that also highlights what your business is, and tell them when they can reach you and what are the fabulous things about your business and why should they wait around for you to call them back. Okay. That's one thing. Radio hosting, like I said before, what we're doing here on the radio, this is voiceover, storytelling, narration. I have an exciting project that I will tell you all about very soon. I'm so excited to share that. I'm not going to share it just yet, but it's something that I've been working on. and it's an amazing project that I'm so proud of, and that'll be coming up soon. So just stay tuned. And it's kind of like a global project, and I was so proud to be picked to do that. Another thing I want to play for you real quickly, right now too, I'll play it for you. It's another project I recently did, and this is a radio. Well, okay, let me go here. Thank you, Miss Reese. She's on the ball today.
Here,
This is
hey.
wait, before you press the play button, I just want to set it up real quickly. What you're about to hear, everyone, is just something, since we talked today about neurological disorders, you know, in the meaning, neurological meaning with the brain. So it's a brain disorder. This one, I don't have a sample piece that specifically talks about autism, but this piece that we're about to play you talks about Alzheimer's, okay? And Alzheimer's is what, it's not only elderly people, by the way, that experience Alzheimer's, because you can have early onset Alzheimer's for younger people, but I'm just staying in the vein or on the subject of neurological disorders. This is also a brain disorder, and I have a sample, so I figured I would play it today, okay? So here we go. If you can open up your screen, Reese.
All right, hold on. And you did well. Why did I ask if you did this? All right, hold on. Let's see. Can you see?
Yep. Turn your volume up probably. And here we go. We're talking about Alzheimer's, a voiceover sample piece.
Okay. It's not playing.
Is it just forgetfulness or
You might
Alzheimer's
wanna,
disease?
can you back it up,
Memory loss,
please?
asking repeated questions. Is it just forgetfulness or Alzheimer's disease? Memory loss, asking repeated questions, trouble using words. When signs like these begin to affect everyday life, they may not be a part of normal aging. They may be signs of Alzheimer's disease, an incurable, progressive illness that robs patients and their families of a lifetime of memories. Only a doctor can evaluate symptoms such as forgetfulness and diagnose Alzheimer's disease. To learn more, call toll-free today. Is it just forgetfulness or Alzheimer's disease? Memory loss.
All right. And this week, the last week,
I knew
give me props.
All right, Miss Reese.
In these times, I need to secure my job. All right.
Well, so you know, that right there is a sample piece that I did on Alzheimer's, and is done in the style of like a commercial or like a PSA, a public service announcement that you would see on television. You know, you're sitting down having dinner or whatever, and you see this commercial play on your TV talking about Alzheimer's, and you know, here are the signs. Call your doctor if you have questions. Okay. So I did that because we talked about another neurological disorder today. So all you organizations out there, Alzheimer's, autism organization,
You
please
always
give
know
me a
of the plug
call.
in your thing, you know.
Oh yes, please give me a call and I will
Need
be
a
happy to
plug-in.
do a voiceover for Autism New Jersey. Let me know.
Of
All
course.
right, so I'm gonna play one more thing for you guys real quickly. This is something that, this is totally different. Now this, I want you guys to hear it, and it's for another radio host program, and I'm really happy with it. It's the introduction to a radio show. All right, it's completely different from what I just did. Here's another sample for you. Oops.
Good morning, everyone. Guess what? You are where you're supposed to be. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about our families. We're going to talk about owning a home. We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about our finances. Right here, every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on My Turn Radio. So glad you tuned in because you are right on the money.
Wow. Yes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Carol always do it every time, I tell you. Every time.
So that's another sample. So for all of you Floridians listening, you'll be hearing that on the radio as well for a morning show. Okay, so when you hear it, you know it's me. Good morning, everyone, because this is what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Let's make it a great day.
Yes. Yes.
So that's another sample. Again, this is Carol Tanya, and it's Lights Action Voiceover. If you need to hear more samples of my work, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Instagram, Facebook, all the different mediums. Check out Lights Action Voiceover. And as you heard like a public service announcements for Alzheimer's. You heard a radio disc jockey piece. There are different examples and samples I've played you before, and every week I'll play you something more so that you can finally hear what I'm talking about and understand what voiceover is and how it can be applied to your business. Okay.
Well,
Reese?
we ran out of time today, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
So no announcements this week.
So the only thing with that, what I'll say is another voiceover we'll do is I'm going to be doing something for you, Reese, which you have the work bar.
Right.
Okay. And that's the workspace. I like to tell people about your work bar because you're offering that space to everybody who needs it. Okay. So come on, bring your clients, come in. You can get a day pass. You can, for whatever you need to.
And we had fun yesterday, right, Kimmy? I was telling her that you were my model yesterday.
Yes, we did. We had an awesome time yesterday.
Yes. So
excellent.
So
and that's on egirlfriday.com. I'm plugging your business, girl.
egirlfriday.com.
There
and
you go.
You'll hear my commercial, which Miss Carol Tanya is going to be doing.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. So yes.
Awesome.
So, I want to
for mine too, because I'm revamping my salon also too as well. So I definitely want Carol in on that one.
All right.
So
I'm happy to hear that.
Everybody for listening today. I know we went over today with our topic, but it was well worth it.
It was well worth it.
I hope somebody learned, we all learned something today and, take that knowledge with us and maybe pass it along to someone else. And you get to actually listen to the show on our YouTube page. All right. So if you missed it or you want to hear it again, and, you can just come on over to Let's Connect YouTube channel and it will be over there. Okay.
The full episodes are on our YouTube channel. If you're not sure, we also post the links to our YouTube on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page. We post the links, but all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in the search bar, Let's Connect with a K, and you'll find us. And also you can watch the full episodes.
Subscribe to our page so whenever we post anything, you'll be notified.
Yes, please subscribe to us. But before we even sign off, I want to thank Norberto for joining us today. But big thank you to Stephanie Flamini from the Autism New Jersey group. She was so knowledgeable and excellent. I want to say specific. Big thank you to her for coming and talking to us. She knew everything. She had all the answers. We had questions thrown at her and she just had the answers like, what?
Yes.
So thank you, Stephanie. We appreciate
and also,
you.
Kim, thank you for giving us your side of having your autistic nephew.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that because not a lot of people would share that. So I appreciate that. You had us in tears. Today's show
can relate to that. You had me seriously. The tears were rolling down. I was like, oh, why she did that?
First, it was Norberto. And then Kim.
And then Kim, that was it. I couldn't hold it anymore. It just came. I was like,
and guess what sister said? Sis, please don't get on there and do that because I know you already. I said, no, I'm not. I'm just going to talk. I'm not going to say anything. She goes, I know you. Maybe I should
But
tell
other
Andrew.
people can relate, so it's
Don't
good
say-
that you
Yeah.
talk.
Because
And it
maybe
was
I should tell
genuine.
Andrew to be careful with you and all that. So you don't have to tell Andrew to be careful with me. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna.
So maybe your sister will find some of the links useful. Maybe she'll join some of the groups because it will help her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we're
Yeah.
not here to make her feel bad or anything. It's just to help her. Just like Stephanie said,
Parents go
it's
through it
really
too.
here to help.
It's
Mhm.
rough for parents, especially if you're doing it alone too. So,
Exactly.
there's a lot
Yes.
of things. So, yep.
All right.
So, fam, we're gonna get out of here. It's now 6 o'clock, and do your thing, Carol. You know how you do it every.
Well,
You close us out.
yes. We close out the show every week. We thank you. We love you for joining us. Come back next Wednesday. We are here every Wednesday from 3 to 6. We talk with you. We laugh with you. We cry with you. We love you. We thank you. Come back. See you next week, Wednesday. And as always, this is Let's Connect, the show where you find
More compassion.
more empathy. And
That's judgment.
you
Yes.
got it. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We're leaving this time?
Yes. I keep my job.